Welcome to Raw Babes 101.
Hello.
This is Miss Natalie. She's back, everybody. Natalie is here and better than ever.
Better than ever.
My shining star.
Yes.
Let me just take a moment to tell everybody, if you want to check out Natalie's story, she was on Raw Babes last April. Mm-hmm. It aired April 27th. You Can Heal Your Body, which is exactly what you did.
Oh, yeah.
In the most profound ways. And there's a part 1 and a part 2. So please go back and search it on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whichever, and check a load of this amazing episode and what she went through, because it was insane.
It was insane.
Insane.
Yeah.
But she's back now and she has done some incredible things. And
Yes.
I just wanted to check in on you to see where you're at in life and what changes have gone on and all of your spiritual processes and all the things.
Yeah. And you know what? When you were like, I've healed my body, I was like, I've healed more than my body. Like, holy crap. It's insane. Yeah.
Yes.
I just feel like all of that was just this precursor to literally, I was just walking through life, going this way, and all of a sudden, all that stuff happened with my health and the healing that needed to happen, and it was just like, and it put me on this new path and
100%.
Completely realigned my life. So
Amazing.
yeah, a lot's changed.
A
lot's changed since then. Well, so I think at the time that I recorded the last episode with you, I was doing infant and toddler sleep coaching.
And actually, yes, you were doing that, but you had taken a bit of a break.
I had taken a bit of a break. Yes. And I went back. to doing that. And I had also just done my Reiki level 1, I think. We had all done our Reiki level 1 at that last episode. So I started actually incorporating Reiki into my work with children and their sleep, and sending Reiki and energy work with families who wanted to. And it just, and actually then I just felt so pulled into doing that work and started my own healing practice back at the beginning of this year. So I was doing both of those things at once.
Okay.
And the sleep stuff has always been near and dear to my heart because I struggled so much with my first daughter's sleep, and it was like, it's hard to live, right? It's hard to live when you're exhausted.
Yeah.
To thrive, really. And so, but my heart was just pulling me so intensely towards the energy work and healing work.
Yeah.
And so back in June, actually, I completely severed the ties with the sleep coaching and am now solely focusing on my healing practice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what do you offer to moms and kids, and what is it that you do so people listening kind of understand more of
so
you do?
Basically, and it's funny because the being drawn to working with moms and children, it wasn't apparent to me until June-ish time, but because I've struggled so much in my relationship with my daughter, and because she's mirrored so much of me and my inner child and my experience growing up, I've done a lot of work on myself in that area, inner child work, and really processing emotions, thought patterns, belief systems that I adopted going through life. And so really that's where I find myself most drawn to, and where most of my sessions go, is working on past, emotional trauma, emotional wounds, thought patterns, belief systems with moms and with parents. I don't only work with moms, I work with dads and men as well. But just looking at those experiences from childhood, inner child work.
Yeah.
And then also what's come up as a pattern for me is people who are, no surprise, because I've completely changed my business. So what's come up for me is I've had people approach me looking for guidance with, and as they change their kind of focus in their businesses, and kind of working through limiting beliefs and the fear and, all the things.
Yeah.
So helping them to kind of tap into alignment and into more of their highest expression, their truest expression. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We're so happy you're doing all the healing.
Thank
we
you.
need everybody that we possibly can.
Yes.
And it's so cool because Natalie literally went from, you know, just mom and really working through a lot of health things. She came across medical medium, and that's what drew her and I together energetically through the ethers, through your mom. Like,
Yes.
we didn't even know each other from a hole in the ground.
No.
And then all of a sudden we end up meeting, and then this whole spiritual like guru and all of like who you are just started coming to the surface. And like
it's
the remembering.
undeniable. It's complete remembering. Like, it's not even, it's like so aligned.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's insane.
it's insane. And so, yeah, that's the other piece that's just, it's just come out and just taken over.
I know.
But in the best way possible.
Yeah. And like something that we could talk about is basically moving from everyday life in the 3D world of where we live in, but then how to tap into that spiritual self, but then also getting over the fear of caring what other people think. Because in life, you have a partner, possibly, you have your mom and your dad, and you have people that are on a different journey and a different path.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you're talking about past lives, inner child, spirituality,
Yes.
and all these things. So it's like, how did you bridge the gap from changing and becoming who you are today and expressing yourself as the spiritual being that you
Yes.
are instead
Authentically.
of
Yes.
authentically instead of just being stuck in that human as just like, oh, I'm just here
Yes.
9 to 5 working every day as a mom, look after my kids, and not being in alignment with your purpose.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is a loaded question, but it's such a good question. And honestly, I'm still bridging that gap,
Yes.
but I've largely, like, I'm like getting there, right?
Leaps and bounds.
Leaps and bounds. And it's a real thing. Like, I think for a long time, I felt like I was in a spiritual closet where I was like,
sorry, there we go.
my bracelet's making noise. I felt like it was fear of judgment. It was big time fear of judgment, and what other people would think. And the funny thing is, the people that I cared most about weren't even people that were like in my life. Like, it was like, because I came from a background in internal audit and accounting.
Right.
Right. And so, and I still have all these people that I worked with, like, on my social media accounts. And so it's like, I cared what they thought because they're in such a different spot.
Right.
But they're not even the people in my life. And so it was just working through it. It was just feeling the fear. Like, it sounds so cliche, right? Feel the fear and do it anyways. But that's what it was. And it was about reminding myself that, like, would I rather wear a mask and pretend to be someone else? Or would I rather take off the mask and show up as myself? And then for the people that don't align, maybe they fall away or don't understand me. Big deal.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And
Or
so,
maybe you're planting some seeds within them. Even though you may not know it.
Well, exactly.
And then they're going to start on their path in their own way.
Yeah. And if it triggers that person, that's for them, right?
Exactly.
That's for them to look at. So
100%.
it was just a lot of, you know, being very consciously aware as I went through this journey, so that when I felt that fear come up, I could see it, I could acknowledge it, but I also, and you know, thank you, fear, for just bringing me consciously aware. But I don't want to be in a place of fear. You know, I want to take off the mask, which is largely what I've done. Take off the mask, friggin' throw it away, and just show up as myself.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so beautiful.
And yeah, I mean, my parents, my mom, my dad has passed, and I think he had a large hand in this journey that I've been on. And he's just always there.
The signs are so beautiful.
The signs are insane.
Yeah.
But my mom is not spiritual. She hasn't been spiritual at all. And so I think,
even though she is a spiritual being.
She's a spiritual being. And you know what's funny is she has had sessions with me now. She's had sessions with me.
Beautiful.
And I can share, I just share things candidly with her now. Obviously, we use our discernment, right? Because we don't want to share if we receive this beautiful sign and we know the other person's not going to be able to understand or receive and, you know, share in the magic.
Do you have an example of a sign that you've got? Because I like to share like actual magic. You get so many signs. So I know I just put you on the spot, but if something like really big comes up for you that you've received from your dad, let's share it.
There's a recent one, which was just insane. So last week I was driving to a session, and
a session you were doing?
A session that I was doing with a client.
So she also is mobile, so this is good to know.
Yeah, although I will say I will do sessions in home, but it's a lot of work. Like I prefer to do a session in home with a child or like an infant, because then there's not this giant honking massage table and all the things that I need to bring. So anyways, I was doing a session in home. On the way there, I remember turning onto this person's street. The license plate in front of me said the person's initials 000. So hello, how can that be?
Yeah,
that's not just a coincidence.
Yes,
I had this awesome session, and I just led the session with no fear of judgment as to what I was, you know, receiving. I just received, and I just was a channel for it.
Yeah, and she's talking about received as in being connected to source, her team, getting messages. Just so if you guys are like, what are you connected to? What are you talking about?
Yes. And so I left the session. It was fantastic. And I was driving home, and I was just reflecting and feeling good, feeling like, oh, I just feel aligned, you know?
Yeah.
And, so the funny thing is, actually, a few days prior, someone that we know had shared with us that there's this upgrade happening with our Claire audience channels.
Can share.
Yeah.
We can share her.
So Stevie Schiller,
amazing
who's
Stevie.
amazing.
Woo!
We love you, Stevie.
Yes.
So she had shared with us that this week, or like coming up here, we were going to be getting an upgrade to our Claire audience channels, which is our clear hearing. And that comes through with like songs, hearing things that people are saying, hearing messages without necessarily your ears as well. And so anyways, I was
things that other people may not hear, but you hear. And that sounds a little scary.
Yes.
But it's not. It's just
not
your channel. It's just not opening up your connection.
Totally. Yeah. And so with that in the background, I was driving home from the session, and all of a sudden my radio stops. Like I was streaming music on Spotify. And so the music stops and the song changes, and it just it goes, "What goes up?" You know that song?
What goes up
must come down. But it didn't say that part. It just said, "What goes up?" And then it stopped.
Whoa.
And then no music was playing. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening? And I'm driving, right? And so I was looking at my like dashboard, I guess, or like the display in my car where it shows the song titles and the albums and everything. And then I think it said next, "When I Die."
Oh my God.
So it goes, "What goes up?" And it said, "When I die." And then it said, "You'll never know how much I love you." And it said, it was the album "Child is Father."
Wow.
To the man. Oh. So at this point, I started bawling. I was like, oh my God. Like I just got this overwhelming feeling like, Dad, oh my God. And so I was pulling over, and I was like, Dad, like, is this you? Like, I hear you. I'm seeing this.
The signs.
And so me asking, Dad, is this you? Well, the next song that comes on, and again, the song isn't playing. It's just the titles coming across the...
What the flip?
Across the display.
I love it.
So next it goes, "Girl, you know it's true." Right? I was like, oh
You're
my
like,
God.
Dad,
I was just, oh my God. I was just like,
how does that
it was so magical.
Oh.
Yeah, it was so magical.
The shivers, the tingles.
Yeah.
He's 100%.
Oh, it was so good. And
That's
then
beyond.
I got home, and I was kind of doubting it a little bit. Like, was that really? Because it was so like, holy
in
crap.
your face.
It was big.
Wow.
And then on my phone, I got like a TikTok notification. I'm like never on TikTok, but a TikTok notification popped up on my phone saying, "It's me."
Oh my God! Freaking drop the shit.
Mic drop.
Wow.
Right?
Literally.
It was insane. It was insane.
Natalie.
Yeah.
See, so Natalie, of course, we talk about all these things and the signs and synchronicities all the time, and we message each other, talk to each other. But this is so much more profound hearing this live because
Right?
I didn't understand it to this magnitude.
Right?
That's so
It
your
was
dad.
It was
holy,
insane.
And
I
spirit
could
is
feel
so
him. Like it was
powerful.
just so
Yeah.
it was so powerful. And I think I remember too, like I was like taking pictures. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
I was like
It's the
grabbing my
same.
phone and taking pictures of the songs. And I remember one of them was just stopped at 11 seconds and it was 11:01. And I feel like I remember seeing something about I'm so proud of you, but it was all like it was just so it was
so
happening so fast. And I was like almost not in shock, but it was just like in awe. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it was wild.
So that's amazing. And this is a perfect example of how our loved ones will show up and you can't discredit any of it because you just know. And it's that knowing, like if you catch that song phrase and you're like all of a sudden thinking about a person, I have two things that I have to share. So
Share it.
my mom and I, which you know, Natalie and I went crazy about these things. She was actually, I called her after this happened because it was just so profound. My mom and I go to my favorite restaurant. I ask for signs always. I'm like, okay, I'd like a parking spot right out front. I call in Mopfa, I call in Dar, and I'm like, okay, guys, show me stuff and whatever. So Mopfa is my grandfather who's passed. And so we're driving out there and there's a parking spot. Pull up to the parking spot. It says 143 on it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Okay, take a picture of it, carry on. My mom and I are sitting down. We're having really deep conversations and very personal conversations about, you know, our loved ones and grieving and all the things. And our candle blows out. So I was like, okay, that's cool. That's fun. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to change candles with the table next to us. So we changed the candles. And at this restaurant, you guys, it's literally like, it's a mix of like Indian and like Middle Eastern. It's all over the world. There's different sorts of foods. So they always have a musician playing, and this musician was playing a violin, and it's always music that is Middle Eastern. Like it's like, I don't even know. You can't even describe. I don't even know the actual genre. So anyhow, we're sitting there and we're talking about Mopfa and we're super deep into conversation. And the gentleman that's playing, he's like this older fella, and it's so beautiful. He's like, his heart and soul is into the violin. And he stops to take a break. And all of a sudden, What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong starts freaking playing. And it's the actual song. And it's, I see skies of green, blah, blah. My mom and I were like,
Skies of green?
oh no, skies of blue. Oh my God. But green heart chakra. That was no mistake. That was no mistake. So we're sitting there and my mom and I are like, we're crying. Our shivers are happening. The candle blows out.
Oh, it's just so undeniable. It's like, you can't. No.
And like for this song, I get up. You guys, like, I'm so dramatic. I'm like, I get up, I get my video camera on. I'm like, I got to video this so people actually believe my mom and I. Like, this is insane.
Yes.
There's an old school little ghetto blaster that has like this USB. You cannot make this up. And the crazy thing is, my mom and I both had this intuitional feeling where we just checked on each other that day. We were just having a low day.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, and we go, and she was like, asked me at the same time as I asked her if we wanted to go for food, and she wanted sushi, and I wanted to go to Main Street. Luckily, I like tapped into that, and I was like, yeah, we got to just go, Mom. Let's just go to this one, because all these signs and all these things were just waiting for us there.
It's following the nudges.
Yes.
Like, following the nudges is
100%.
magic.
You have to.
You have to.
So we have a beautiful time. We leave there, and I'm driving home, and I don't have GPS on. I'm talking to Natalie at this point. My mom's in the passenger. We're just driving along, and my mom looks around. She's like, hey. She's like, we're 2 minutes, like right by my old house. I'm like, okay, do you want to go check it out? She's like, absolutely. She puts it in the GPS. It's literally 2 minutes away. We pull down the flippin' street, and there's her house, and it's gonna be demolished.
Oh my God.
If we were not there on that moment, and I just didn't randomly drive where I didn't know where the hell I was going, we wouldn't have seen that.
She wouldn't have seen it again.
And
probably.
She got to revisit her old childhood home, share memories,
so
talk about her dad, so many things. Like, these are the beautiful things that are always available to us, as you know, and as our viewers and listeners are listening. You just need to be aware. And like, what do you think would be a good tool to give others to open up that channel, or like open up?
Question.
Yeah, like what could we give them To just, okay, go.
Just like intention, like
Okay.
ask, connect with your spirit
Beautiful.
team. Like, yeah, connect with your
Ask your
spirit
loved
team,
one.
ask your loved one to come in and show you a sign, which is crazy that we're talking about this actually, because just this book came to me. It was recommended by a friend,
Let's
Amy.
tell everybody, yeah.
The book is called Signs, and I forget, we'll have to write down
Who
it's
the
called
authors.
Signs, the Secret Language of the Universe.
Signs, the secret. Okay, I'm going to put it down so we can add it into our notes for everybody.
And you know the crazy thing about this book, it's written by a psychic medium.
Okay.
And she is one of the only psychic mediums, not that they need to be proven by science, but she's one of the only psychic mediums who has been verified scientifically in her craft, like in her
Horror.
in
Her. Like, in horror.
in her, like what she does, you know. And she shares all about our light teams. She shares all about the ways that they speak to us, and she shares the most beautiful stories about people who have come to her, and she really taps into the signs that they were already receiving and validates them, which is the most beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And so reading these stories, it is almost validating for the reader to, because it's so many of the signs, like she talks about default signs that a lot of us receive, like repeating numbers, butterflies, feathers, all those things.
All part of it.
It's all part of it. And then she talks about how to ask for signs specifically
Yeah.
with your loved ones.
You know, Gabby Bernstein, when I first started back on my spiritual journey, her thing was to ask for signs in the universe, and then also give like a date and give a time.
Yeah.
And say, okay, by the end of today, give me a sign that is super clear that I'll know it's you.
Yeah.
Or specifically say, you could say an owl. It could be come in any form.
Oh my God, I just thought of another crazy one.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. So I, just like what you're saying, I didn't ask for a specific sign,
Okay.
but I asked for a sign that I could not ignore. Do you remember this one? The
Yes.
crow? So, and I forget what I was even asking for a sign for, but so I asked for a sign that I could not ignore. I think it was actually to do with my career transition, like in the alignment of it. And so I was, it's funny because that night I was on a Zoom call and I was sitting outside for the Zoom call. And the whole time I was on the Zoom call, there was this crow standing behind me and walking behind me along the railing of my deck, like my balcony. And everybody on the Zoom could see it, and it wouldn't go away. And I was like, what is this crow here for?
Wow.
And I kept asking. And then finally I was like, it clicked about, okay, well, this is the sign that I couldn't ignore. Like it literally wouldn't go away until I acknowledged it. And then there was somebody like sent me a picture of like a Superstore commercial with a crow on it.
And
like,
didn't Stevie's shirt have the crow on it?
Stevie's
or
shirt,
something?
yeah, she just bought a shirt with a crow on it.
Yes.
And then she read me like the crow energy, and like what it means, and it was all about manifesting magic essentially, and like I don't remember, creativity and all of these things, and it was just wild. It was just beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
So
and
just ask.
Yeah, ask and you shall receive, and what you focus on expands,
Yeah.
and what you seek is seeking you.
Yes.
Always.
Always.
And it's like when you're focusing on the negative in your life, you're asking for more of that negative. And I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
Why not focus on, this situation could be happening, but show me a sign or show me in the direction of my higher self of what I can do with this, or where is my lesson?
Healing. Show me my healing in this.
Yes.
Show me my lesson. That is
And
like
what is
one
the
of my
lesson?
favorite
Same.
questions. Yeah.
Always. There's always a lesson. And it's that moment when you choose to switch it and go, okay, where is the silver lining? What is the lesson? What did I learn from this traumatic situation?
Yes.
And how can I move forward?
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
So what specifically got you from healing? So this is actually what came into my mind. Cleaning up her body. So this is what happened with Natalie, is she cleaned up her body first. Because I always say this even with my clients is, let's clean up your human, let's clean up your vessel.
Yes.
There's so many products and foods and things that are heavy and dense that are weighing us
huge.
down.
Yeah.
And our light bodies need to be light. So
Yeah.
I always say like eating foods from the light and blah, blah, blah.
Clearing the filter. It's
Perfect.
like,
Yeah, clear the filter, clear
Yeah.
the channel, clear the blocks,
Yeah.
the Reiki, the this, the that.
Yeah.
So my so that's what Natalie basically did, was cleaned up her human, and then it was like she was just ready for this next step, and she didn't even actually know it, But
No,
then
I didn't.
it was like she didn't know what her next step
All I know
was.
is I need, like, I had, at that point, I was still having crazy anxiety. And so I started doing counseling, and I ended up having to switch counselors so that I could actually go deep into, like, all of the things. And again, like, clearing, releasing, acknowledging, feeling all the things. And that was just like the next step further.
So that was the next step.
Yeah.
So if you guys are, this is why I'm trying to like break it down a little bit for everybody watching. It's like she went from health and cleaning up her human, whether that is
Physical
dis-ease
healing,
or working out or whatever. Then her next step was dealing
Emotional
with the fear and emotions and counseling.
Anxiety, yeah. But it kind of happened and that's just my
And that
path,
was when
right?
you switched
Everybody's
to
path's
Lisa.
going to be different. That's when I switched to Lisa. That's also, so I met you in there. I switched to Lisa on your recommendation, and then you also recommended that I go see Nikki. And that was like blew my friggin' socks off because that was like the intro to energy healing, and I could feel it so deeply. I could feel the energy moving.
It was just remembering.
It was remembering. I remember my eyes went ape shit. Like my eyes were like they were just going crazy. And then just the messages she passed on, it was all just like so, it was just so touching and so familiar. You know what I mean? And that's when it was like, boop, opened a faucet, couldn't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're ready, the healer, the friend, the recommendation will show
They
up.
come into your life.
And they're always there. You're always getting these little nudges. And it doesn't matter if it's a friend that wants you to work out. It's all going to lead you on the path. Just stop fucking resisting.
Yeah, you have to be open to receiving it.
And exactly.
Yeah.
You were ready.
I was ready.
When I met you, it was like, bam.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
You were just like, shh.
Ugh.
And so, like, I have to just give you so much props. I'm, like, beyond proud of you. And I'm so grateful for you being in my life and in Tiffany's life and coming on the show for Raw Babes. Like, all the things that you've done are so profound.
Yeah.
And you're unstoppable. Non-stop. What am I trying to say? Unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's just like insane.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want you to just tell me a little bit more. So after Nikki, obviously you're doing counseling, you're seeing Nikki.
Yeah.
What's happening next for you?
Oh, what is happening next? Well, I had these interesting experiences, and I don't know if I shared it on the last time that I was on, but I was working with this interesting health coach.
This has not been shared, but I think this is some juicy juice.
And here's the thing, like I have nothing against this person. She came into my life. Actually, it was very aligned when I needed her most. Although I recently saw a quote that said, if you are looking for somebody to save you, like if you are holding a person as a savior, it's just like they're going to disappoint you. And really, that's what happened. Long story short. But in a way, like I was so obsessed with the medical medium stuff and the symptoms that I was having at the time. And I was like constantly reading through the books, and I was almost like spinning my wheels on it. And so she came into my life at a time where I was able to just like drop all that and almost trust in her, but I put too much trust in her. And she was just working with some energies and that weren't feeling aligned for me. And she sort of exposed me to this one energy that I felt like was hanging around me. Like that was my first experience where I was like, what is this? I feel like there's a presence here, and it didn't feel good. And I was like, I don't know what this is. And so that's where I actually contacted Stevie and signed up for her Spirit Guide Immersive course, it was just so amazing and aligned at the time.
And you can see why there is no mistake, because this woman that came into Natalie's life, and I remember so vividly, I'm like,
you're like, red flags.
I'm like, run, Forrest, run. And the thing is,
but I had to go. I had to do it.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing is Natalie had to go through it, because it then detoured her into another direction.
Exactly.
And then to get your own guidance, to trust in yourself instead of somebody else.
Exactly. To stand in my own power and know that I am the one who's responsible for my healing, just like all of you. And we're responsible for our own healing. We can't put our power in somebody else. It's great to have people to hold up mirrors and hold containers and hold space, and different practitioners and what have you. But and it taught me a lot about my discernment as well. And so that's how I actually found Stevie and started working with her and taking her Spirit Guide Immersive course. And it was just was so good. And it gave me all the understanding and the tools to understand and just to understand what I was experiencing and tools and how to address them.
And Stevie's incredible at teaching you discernment, how to protect our own energy, your own auric field, not to be just blasted open channel 24/7. You have to close down.
It's like responsible. It's the responsible way to connect and allow, safely.
Yeah.
So,
and use your discernment, because some people are open to just channeling anybody. And on a previous episode I shared with everybody, it was like, who do you want guidance from? Do you want guidance from Uncle Albert that smoked and drank and sat on his ass all day? Yeah. Or do you want guidance from your spirit team or from somebody who's experienced Council of Light or whatever?
Exactly. So it's creating those boundaries on who you want to allow into your field and into your into your experience and who you don't. Same as in your physical life, right? We don't want just anybody walking into our house.
I love that you just said that.
Yeah.
Because those are boundaries that you have to have on the spiritual realm as well as here. And when you clean up the boundaries that you have with your immediate family and then your next level and then your next level, you become so empowered because you are just this strong motherfucker who
standing in your power. You have boundaries. You're like,
activate your goddess.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. So I started working with Stevie and learning all those things. And and that was just a wild experience. But it was just so amazing. And I think that's where I received some judgment about like, what are you doing? Because as soon as you bring in like spirit or the word medium, like it can be triggering to some people.
Exactly.
And
that's their fear, not yours.
It is, exactly. And so it's just working through it and again, standing in your power and
and doing you.
Just doing me and doing what feels right for me. And it's just been so empowering and magical. All of it.
And it's so cool. Like I'm just watching you. It's like it's how everybody feels about everybody. Like I love you so much. You're such a dear friend to my heart. And I just love everybody tapping in and getting onto their purpose. Like,
it's just magical.
Yeah. From Natalie going from, stay-at-home mom to, working on your health, medical medium stuff, and then getting back into We Sleep, but at the same time activating who you are and who you came here to be and who you've always been.
Yeah.
To then let's go to the leap of faith of just being like balls to the walls. I'm completely tapping into what I came here to do.
Oh yeah.
So what was that like for you?
It's just been exhilarating and magical and expansive and like it's just like it sounds so corny, but it's like coming home. It's like literally it just feels like that. But at the same time, like I've had to work through so much. Like I've had all self-imposed stuff, like all the fear, all the doubt, the fear of judgment,
limiting beliefs,
all of the things.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's me working through those things myself is how, and same for you, right? That's what puts you in a position to help others do the same thing. Yeah. And that's like,
the clearer
the why.
Yeah. The clearer you are, the more able you're able. Oh my God! Look at the more able you're able to help others.
Exactly.
And when you love yourself, you're just a mirror and such a beautiful reflection for other people. And your light just gets bigger and bigger and brighter and brighter. And people are like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what happened to you?" Like, remember when you saw Stephanie, another friend,
God,
and she's done all this work and been like all into the podcast and all the things. And Natalie saw her. We were doing a ceremony.
Yeah, we were doing a circle.
And what did you say? You're just like,
I just remember like because I worked on her. Actually, she was in like my little corner of our circle. And we were doing Reiki and stuff, and seeing her the next time. Which how many months was that later? A couple months later.
Yeah,
it was just her energy was completely different. Like she was just like. Her energy was just expansive and bright and and it showed like physically on her too. Like she looked amazing. She was just glowing.
Yeah.
and her energy was
like
glowing.
that light is
it was
lit.
just, yeah. So it's just cool to witness in
It
people.
is. It is.
Yeah.
And to see that you can light your own light. Like you can sit here and be like, okay, visualize it and light your own light inside.
Light your own light. I know.
Fuck
it's
yeah.
sitting there.
It's waiting.
It's right here. It's sitting in your heart.
Yeah.
Just freaking light it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited because you're just like I said, I can't even say the things these days.
What?
Unstoppable. I was going to say non-stoppable, but this is not.
Oh my God.
Throat chakra.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So Natalie took that incredible leap of faith to totally be standing in her purpose and doing what she loves to do. And it's like, just do it.
Just do it. Do it.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
It's like when you lead a soul-led life, it's just like...
It is magical. And you just like allow the magic, and it's just... It doesn't mean it's all freaking rainbows and butterflies, right? But it's so incredibly beautiful and aligned. It just feels like truth. Like it feels like this is right.
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong, but it just feels aligned.
And I think that's a perfect takeaway as to if somebody's going to be changing a career or stepping into something or a new relationship, feel. Just how does it feel?
Yes.
The feeling is the answer.
The feeling is the answer. Yeah.
100%. Okay. What's the most helpful tip you can give moms for their kids?
Oh my goodness.
Put you on the spot.
The most helpful tip. Okay, let me think. Okay, so the most helpful tip for moms
to help their kids.
Yeah,
because like especially with, for instance, like maybe put yourself in a situation. It's like when kids, they don't have the words or the language to express themselves, or they're losing their mind, or they're freaking out, or they're having problems. Is there anything that comes to mind?
So a few things, and I mean I relate this back to like my own journey and what's helped me most. The word mirror kept coming to mind when you were asking that question, and really our children are they're so perceptive to our energy, and they're like little mirrors of parts of us, and they can mirror all the great parts of us, and when you see your kid like helping another kid, and you're like, oh my God, that's the best, and but they also mirror, I think, to a large degree, the unhealed parts in us, and so the thing that's helped me the most is treating their behavior as such. I mean, I think when a child is having a hard time, we have to look at all the factors, like, sleep, nutrition, stimulation, all those things. But aside from that, if it's like a repetitive pattern that keeps coming up that you're having with your little one, what is that pattern? Like, if you turn that around and acted like they were a mirror, like how is that showing you something within you, or how could you use that to kind of reflect on yourself and learn, like, why is it showing up? Ask yourself that question. Why is this showing up for me, and what's my healing in this? Because when you start to do that inner work on yourself and to unpack those experiences and the emotions and all the things, oftentimes it's triggering something in you that needs to be healed. And when you start to work through those feelings and to feel them and acknowledge them, you can just you're holding space for yourself. And I feel like it allows you to hold so much more space for your child. Yeah. And so they're kids, they're going to have their things. They're going to have all sorts of behavior happening, right? But there's a difference between that behavior triggering you so deeply and you just completely dysregulating and not being able to keep your, hold yourself down, keep your cool, versus that same behavior after you've done some work and being able to be like being able to hold space for them because you've held that space for yourself. That's and you don't have those crazy triggers still so raw within you.
100%.
So I think that's a big one.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's everything.
And
in
the other piece is
in all relationships
and just allowing their feelings. You know what I mean? Like it's so much that we are like
dismissing their feelings.
You're okay. Like
how
many
hurt yourself?
times,
Oh, you're fine.
You're fine. You're okay. Like you don't need to cry about that. Denying their feelings. And I feel like it's something we do subconsciously because we often had that same experience as children, and that's really what leads to us denying our feelings and pushing all the things down and creating those little like buttons that are triggers and our wounds, right? And so if we allow their feelings and just hold space for them to feel them and acknowledge them, I feel like that alone is one of the most powerful things we can do for our kids.
I love that.
Right?
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
It starts at such a young age.
It really does.
Where they start to compress and compact and then
to please others.
To please others. Oh, this is how my mom likes it, so I need to conform to how she wants me to be.
Well, because we're their world, right? And we're
right.
their safety. And so it really comes down to their safety and wanting to please us because that's the safest thing
that they know
for
and
them.
have. Yeah.
You know, and to feel loved and to feel accepted in their world, which is really us and their family.
And it happens so young.
It does.
I remember.
Oh yeah.
Like I go back and unpack things all of a sudden as a 5-year-old that I thought that I needed to do to survive and to help others to help my family.
Full circle, like the whole mask thing is literally something like me saying I needed to take off this mask to just be in my own expression, regardless of what people thought. Those are things that I've gone really deep in within myself, like from a very young age. And those are things that have come up in my sessions with Lisa. Yeah.
And you know, the cool thing is like Natalie, she continues to do the healing and it's a non-stop because I've said this before. It's like you go to the gym 5 times expecting to lose, 5 or 10 pounds and then you stop. Well, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So it's lifelong. Yeah. And it's an investment in yourself.
It is.
And in your journey. And to be an open channel to help yourself, help your family, and then help others.
And to just live in this authentic, it's like free. Yeah. It's freeing,
It is.
It's freeing yourself of all those wounds and those emotions that we often carry without even knowing that we're carrying them. So
with what you said before about kids, I had a situation that happened with Cassius, and I wanted to share it because it might give everybody more insight as to what's happening in real time with them and their kids. So Cassius, of course, he goes to his dad's, and I had noticed and observed before he's getting anxiety, which he may not notice as anxiety. It was just more anxious. And it was like he'd get emotional and he'd get really sad and he wouldn't want to go, and all these things were popping up. So I took a moment and I'm like, what's happening within me during that moment?
Yes, exactly.
So I journaled about it. I sat with it because I'm like, there's something going on here. So I looked at the way I was getting him ready, and because he gets dropped off, I'm concerned of the person who's waiting for Cassius and about time. So I was putting all this pressure on myself and him and this energy to be on time instead of, you know what? He's going to get there. Yeah. It's going to be fine. Yeah. Remove this energy and push and whatever that's energetic exchange. So I changed it because this one time it was like, well, hurry up and get this or get your eagle. We got to go like, blah, blah. And then I changed it to, I let it go. Yeah. And it was so beautiful because he didn't have any of those feelings. Exactly. He wasn't anxious. Right? He was just, he communicated. He said how he felt. He was going to miss me. It was sad. We hugged, but it was just calm.
Well, and that's the thing. They're mirrors to us, and they're so perceptive of our energy. Yeah. But I think too with younger children, like they're literally still energetically attached. Yeah. Like I was reading something about how their auras are still
connected,
open, and they still have these pretty big cords with us. I mean, we all have cords with a lot of people, but
that's a whole other one.
That's a whole other thing.
We need to do another one on that to teach everybody how to release those.
But so really what we're feeling is they'll often feel, and some children are more sensitive than others.
It's very true.
But so
he's a huge feeler.
It's wild. I know Sienna's a huge feeler too. Like she feels everything.
And we all are huge feelers because we are spiritual beings and we're all interconnected. We're all one essentially at the end of the day.
Some of us shut it down. Like some of us totally shut it down, but you can always reignite it for sure.
But no, it's true. Okay, so a couple of fun things that I wanted to do. I wanted to obviously pull a card, but I want to, Tiffany and I have been doing this.
Ooh, cards of connection. Oh, I love that.
I know. So we're just going to pick a card, and it's just going to ask us a question.
Okay.
And then after I want Natalie to pull a card for everybody.
Okay.
So your choices are diving deeper, too much information, building chemistry, or foreplay. And so it's not actually to do with that. It's always questions and communication.
Okay. I was drawn to the red cards, so let's see.
So I'll let you pick what you're drawn to, and it's going to be a question for us.
Oh my God, I love it. Are we both going to do this question?
Well, I think we should.
Well, I think we should. Okay. Let's go with this guy.
I love these cards.
So where's the thing? Oh, interesting.
That is amazing. We pulled this card actually on a couple of episodes
Really?
ago, but it's perfect for you to answer.
What is one thing that you wish more people understood about you?
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh.
Right? How deep can these questions go?
I know, right? That's really deep.
Bonus, how would that understanding make, your interactions better or more fulfilling?
Oh, wow. Interesting.
What's coming to your mind?
Nothing now.
Oh my God. What is one thing that you wish more people understood about you? So for me, I've said this before, and that's always about my heart and like understood the truth about how much I love people and genuinely just want the best for them. And like, it can come across as like really powerful because I am like, don't you understand? You're like, so you've got all this potential and like all these things. Like, you don't have to be in fear. You don't have to be stuck in like this pain. And there's a doorway to freedom. Yeah. So that kind of thing. But yeah, I just,
yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to like just where I've come from, you know? Like, I think when it's sort of the same thing as what you said in a way. Like, I just want...
What do you want? Like, if people saw you and they don't know anything about you, like, what would be the takeaway of like that they, whether they know you or they don't know you, that they wish they knew more about you?
Yeah, I mean, what's coming to mind is just like my past and like where I've come from, and coming from that place of like, I have felt disconnected from my feelings in the past, and I have had all these health things happen. And I think a lot of people maybe in the past, I know a lot of people have looked at me and said, "Oh, she has it all together. Like, she has this amazing job, and she looks put together." And they think because I've always like held it together. Yes. But actually, there's been times where just things were not together. Like, and many times where things aren't together. You know what I mean? Yeah. And still to this day, things aren't always together. Of course. And then that's okay. And that's right. And that's where I come from too with others is, just wanting, it's like that self-connection piece in a way, like wanting to, me coming from that place is why I want to help people connect to themselves and you've been that alignment piece. Yeah. So that's what's coming to mind for me.
No, it's beautiful. Yeah. It's like, and it's similar, like you said, with mine, because it was like, don't judge a book by its cover. Like, don't just judge because a book by its cover. You think that I have all this stuff, it just means my life is tickety-boo. It's like, you know, this is the takeaway. It's like, you know how fucking hard I've worked to get to this place, and you can too. You can too. That's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. I love that. I love those cards. I know. Thank you. They're great for relationships, friendships, and for anybody. So
amazing for reflection as well. Yeah.
Okay, Miss Natalie, will you pull a card for all of our viewers and listeners? So, one or two, whatever.
I feel drawn to one from each deck, so I'm gonna draw one from each deck here.
Okay. Boop. This is going to be for everybody.
For everybody.
I'm going to take it too. Whatever comes up is a piece for me, a piece for you.
Yeah.
Ooh, and the Surrender deck is my absolute favorite deck.
So good.
Found out about this one through Stevie, of course.
Yeah, through Stevie. Power of Surrender. Okay, so let's give these a little shuffle.
Did you ever get an actual reading with Stevie before you did her course?
No. Oh. No, I did a reading with her actually impromptu during her course. Yeah. But yeah. And then afterwards as well.
Yeah. Amazing.
So.
Wow.
Interesting. Okay.
Ooh.
Surrender worry.
Crazy.
Make a commitment not to lead an anxiety-driven life. When worries arise, breathe them out of your body. Focus on the power of your heart and have faith that spirit is guiding you always. Oh my God.
You can't make this up. We talked
can't.
about anxiety.
We talked about all
heart.
this. It's like releasing the fear.
Oh
Release
my
the worry,
gosh.
release the fear.
Surrender worry.
Don't lead from that anxiety, worry, fear-driven life.
Yeah.
Just feel them, breathe them out.
Yeah.
Know that you are always guided, even when it doesn't feel like it in the moment. Things happen for your best good. And when you start to see those connections and really witness them, I feel like it just allows you to lead from that place of love and trust.
Yeah. Surrender the, I think it's,
there you go.
Surrender worry. Where am I? Here we go. And it's so true. Like, lead from your heart. This is a soul-led life, is your heart.
And what is that last line again?
It says,
have faith that spirit is guiding you always. Exactly.
and this is,
we're literally talking about signs
about
and
how,
spirit.
yes.
Yeah.
And it's always happening.
Spirituality.
Like, yesterday was a big day for me, and my dad and I are talking, and we're talking about, you know, being protected and having our loved ones around and all the things. And then a freaking eagle scoops down right over my pool. We see the actual like shadow of this next level. And I like take videos, and it's like right there. So, two.
Whoa.
Three. You know what? This is meant for everybody. Okay. So, I love it. Oh my gosh.
Calmness. The inner divine is the witness of all, remaining still and quiet even during intense turbulence. So take a deep breath and then say, quiet my mind, dear Lord, may your peaceful calm take over. Interesting. So like remaining still and quiet even during intense turbulence. Mm-hmm. The inner divine is the witness of all. So I think that's even just going back to like surrendering to, you know, what's showing up.
Yep.
And knowing there is that inner divine.
And being calm is when you get the answers.
It's when you get the answers.
Anxiety and like freaking out.
Stillness.
You're so disconnected.
Yeah. When you're still. And then the other two, divine timing and patience. Ooh. The divine brings things in the timing that we need.
Not that we want.
Nothing comes before we're prepared. Ooh. Nor leaves too early. May I always trust your perfect and holy timing, dear Lord. These cards are kind of like Lordy.
That's okay.
That's okay.
And
but then messages.
It doesn't matter. It's like, this is what I love about it. It's like deconstructing the word Lord. It can be source. It can be anything. God. It can be goddess. It's whatever you feel called to.
And it's funny because we were just talking about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Divine timing.
Everything's happening for you, and it's all in divine time.
Always.
You can't, you know?
It's
Patience.
Like when the healer comes. It's like when the relationship ends. It's like when the next step of your evolution or the next crumbling. It's all part of it.
It's all part of it. It's all divine. It's
orchestrated.
It is. Dun-da-da. Last one, patience. Ooh. If you've ever tried forever to shift a problem, there's probably something to learn from embracing it. Oh my gosh, may I let this be for now. Help me relax and trust every need will be met. Often change soon follows. Oh yes, this is like surrender to what is. I mean, do your work, but also surrender to what is.
Yeah.
And when you're in this energy of longing and wanting things to be different, it's just, that's often what'll keep you there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And make the change.
Perfect.
Like, just take the leap of faith. That's the biggest takeaway out of all of this for Natalie's life, is she just took the leap of faith and she trusted in something that she couldn't see.
Yeah.
She did not see that her clients would show up.
Yeah.
She did not know that her business was going to take off, but she trusted in something else greater than herself.
Follow the nudges, follow your heart.
Yeah.
Be still, like allow yourself the space to be still and to reflect and to feel and see those nudges and what's in your heart. Because if you're go, busy, and you're never taking that time to just be in your own energy and be calm and be still, that's when you receive. Beautiful. You open yourself up to receive.
Something that just came to mind is by Natalie stepping into her next stage of her journey, she opened up a spot for someone to replace her
Oh,
part and her journey,
yes.
and it just turned out to be somebody that I know dear and close to my heart and a client of mine. And on their path of their evolution, that was their next step to step into their purpose of what they love to do. So Natalie, completely trusting in that, she didn't know what was going to come to replace it. Somebody comes in and you have even helped her a little bit to understand the ropes, which is so beautiful.
Yes.
And this is how it works.
She's awesome.
Yes, she's amazing. So it's like you taking that leap of faith and her taking that leap of faith is just evolution. We are continuing to evolve.
Yeah, and something that's coming to mind when you're saying that is like your yes and your following your heart is the best for everybody, because then they can follow you. You not only inspire people to follow theirs, it just works out so divinely, divine timing.
Yeah, and it's like we have to take the Band-Aid off at some point. So when are you gonna fucking take the Band-Aid off?
Yeah.
Are you gonna jump, or are you gonna put one foot over and then step back? And then wait a little bit, 1 foot over. And hey, that's
like getting into the pool.
Yes.
It's like, do you want to do it slowly and painfully, like inch by inch, or do you just jump?
Exactly.
Just jump.
The choice is yours, but you won't regret it.
No, you totally won't. You won't.
So thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
Over a year.
Yeah.
It was April. So check back previous episodes to catch up on Natalie's story. It was quite incredible of how she healed herself. And she is continuing to do that, mind, body, and soul.
Oh, yeah.
We don't stop.
No.
We're ever
and it's
evolving.
Beautiful. Yeah. Lean in.
Thank you for answering the call.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I love this.
I love it. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Oh, love you. Thanks for having me back.
And thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Pause.
Still going.
Oh.